people are joining in. And I'm just setting it up and it is gone live, but we are going to just set up the setting up part.
So just so you know, my son's name is Rajat Nair and my mom's name is Pamela.
Yeah, she'll join in with that name, I think. And we are live.
I'm
going to just set up the setting up. Okay, see, that's what happens. It starts echoing and then we go live and everything is set up. And we are here back with my 88th mom, steadily going towards my 100 mark. It's looking like, it's, I'm all geared up to now finish it in the next 10 days. The next 12 months are going to be interviews and done, and we already have people watching in. This is so special. Like many interviews, but this has been special because I've been keeping Sangeeta's story in my heart and telling people that, like, just the story, Sangeeta, of your son surviving on potato, rice, and dal for 2 years, I think.
1.5, yeah.
Yeah, and I keep telling my son, you can eat that too. He can survive there. So I have 2 kids, young ones. But I keep your story in my heart because it's very, very, very special. I have a beautiful mom here. Sangeeta is here. And as I always say, moms who live their story tell their story the best. I'm nobody to tell their biodata, what their story has been. Let them take it to the floor. Sangeeta, welcome to the book. It's an honor to have somebody like you in the book. And I am very happy and very thrilled today that it happened and we made it. So please introduce yourself and your journey till here, and then the next question would be about you as a mom, and then further we'll keep going with these questions. So go ahead, Sangeeta.
Shikha, firstly, thanks so much for including me. It's an honor for me actually to be a part of this. I did find your entire initiative very interesting and very touching as well, because it's not very often that people go to the level of the moms to know their stories. So thank you for that, and thank you for including me. So a bit about my background. Right now, I'm sitting in Switzerland. It's COVID time, so working from home. And otherwise, my journey pretty much began in India. I was born in army family, had a very loving parent and friend circle and relatives, grew up in a very, very warm and comfortable environment. And then I went ahead. I think my mom had more ambitions for me than I had. So went ahead and did my studies in pharma. And thereafter, India was at that point in time in 92, way, way, way back, they were taking women officers for the first time in the Air Force. So although I had done my master's in pharma, my sister had seen the advertisement and she was applying. So I asked her to apply for me as well. And went in through the exercise of getting selected. It was like we were 12 women out of 24,000 applicants to be selected. And yeah, so went through all of that successfully. And then I got my call letter. At the same time, I was supposed to go abroad and study. So I had to make this choice of, okay, do I do my MS PhD in pharma or do I join the military? And like I said, I came from a 4G background myself, an army background, and it was, I think, the heart tugged a little more towards that end. And I saw myself in the Air Force. And that was in 93 that we got commissioned. And yeah, I was posted to very interesting places. The first one was Bagdogra. It was like not even in the map. And I was like, where have they sent me? So went through for that, then came back as an instructor to the academy, then went to Leh. I was there during the Kargil Ops, and Bangalore. And then after a while, I kind of hung my uniform because that point in time, the Indian government didn't know what to do with us. We were like on trial basis, and I didn't want to risk my career. So I went in and did my MBA, evening college, and worked, and then finally got into the corporate sector, back into the pharma industry. So I was there for good many years. I started like from the ranks, I was like the technical associate to the CEO, and then eventually was heading the business development in one of the companies in India. And during that period, I had a huge personal setback. I lost my husband, and my son was in the 12th grade at that point, actually transitioning 11 to 12. And he finished his studies, had to go through a lot, so did I. And then he went in to do his graduation in Ireland, in Dublin, in Trinity College. At that point in time, I found it extremely difficult to live in the environment that I was living in. So I kind of bailed out, and I had requested for a move to preferably Dublin. The company that I was in was like super good. They did tell me that there wasn't anything in Dublin, but if I wanted, I could try Switzerland. They had a suitable role for me. And yeah, I mean, at that point in time where I was, it didn't seem that anything could be more difficult than where I was. Things could only get better. So I moved without anything. I kind of emptied my house, called in the people from the destitute place and furniture, everything in Bangalore, cleared out my house, and came with very little to Switzerland to start afresh. And yeah, I'm here now. It's 6.5 years, and yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, yeah.
May I say that you've been very, very humble about what you've just said. And sorry, I was just trying to adjust. And sorry, there was a disturbance because whenever you go live, the children come in and they
Perfect. That's the way it is.
and I thought, and you know what it was? It was a candy thing he found, and he just came. I confiscated that, and then he took my phone. So at least he got something out of the live. He didn't get the candy, but he just knocked my older one. My friends are, "You're gonna have candy," and I'm just like, last 10 days I've not done any interviews, and you've not disturbed me. Now you have to. So sorry about that. But but you've been so humble about what you just said. I must tell you that I've heard a story and my heart has been carrying that story. So I must say that we will move forward with that little intricate stuff that you were talking about, the delicate moments, the moments where you showed up as a mom, you showed up as, you were one of the first 12 officers in 24,000 applications. And I must, honestly, because you've been in the Air Force, I have to salute you from a citizen for being one of the 12 women in 24,000 applicants, and then going to these places and then shining there, and not only shining as an officer but also shining as a mom. And that's why you're very special, Sangeeta. And I know better. I've always been saying that I have missed an army officer in the book, and I have to get one so I got one, and such an inspiring story. So we will move into the thing of you being a mom, because you being a mom is what this book is all about. And once you became, we're very proud of you. I don't have enough words. I saw those pictures on your profile recently. I think you shared it again. One of the 12 women who were selected, and there was a newspaper clipping which went, I think, I was just trying to...
Yeah. Ah, okay. You saw that.
I just saw that. I was just trying to get your photo for the picture. I was just trying to see that which picture should I take, and then I saw that clipping, and it just gave me goosebumps. And it's a very proud moment when you see something like that. So let's go ahead. And then you became a mom. Start from there, and then you became
okay, and then I hope my son's not already hearing me, but I think becoming a mom was, I think, unplanned, more accidental. So I don't think I was the most excited person when I heard that I was becoming a mom. I was, in my opinion, relatively young, had the world at my feet, and going to be posted out soon. So going to be going to a place solo, and early part of pregnancy is not easy. So I think I was a little in tears when I heard that I was becoming a mom. But because my husband was so excited, I was like, okay, one of us is very excited. And yeah, so I was posted out at that point in time. And firstly, I didn't even know that I was pregnant until I think one of the officers' wives said, "Hi, I think you need to check up," because I was not able to stomach anything. But yeah, so had to go to a new place and get it transferred without my husband. And during the early stages, it's not so easy. But yeah, so became a mom, which was okay. And then we got transferred to Leh, which is a non-family station. And logically, most of the people would leave their, very little children who are like 1.5 or 2 years old, would leave them with their parents or their in-laws, and because that's a non-family station. So for me, it was like, no, it was a very logical thing that where I go, he goes as well. So little Rajat was there with us, and we were like living in those single mud rooms. Now I think the situation is much better. I'm talking about 99, 2000, where it was like pretty backward. Not much of running water. Food would be.
I've been to Leh for 14 days. Like I took the ride by car, and I exactly know, and it's unbelievable. Staying there,
Yeah.
even 40 minutes stop in the middle, outside Leh and all is so tough. Just to
It
be
was super cold. I mean, it was like in minus double digits, and it's not like the cold over here and things like that.
letting the audience know because they're going to start waking up to see the replays, and oxygen
Yeah.
is also a
Yeah,
problem.
oxygen content, right? And Rajat is really tiny. We used to pack him, and they were mainly bachelors around. So when my husband and I had to go on a work, he, along with his little food package, was transferred to whichever officer was not on duty. And yeah, they would have a good time with him, and I think he did too. And like I was mentioning to you, I didn't want him to have the mess food all the time because it's not the healthiest. They put a lot of oil in it, and the eggs were like powdered eggs or dried onions, which are reconstituted and cooked. So this poor child used to have this pressure cooker. Mein one pressure cooker there would be rice and dal and potato and one egg, which would be his staple for for a pretty long time. It's just that I guess he didn't know there was anything more than that, so he didn't know what he missed. So yeah, it was fun.
But children never know what they miss.
Yeah,
That's fact. Like whatever you like, the way you're raising them, they don't know what they miss, but we know what they're missing, and to be
yeah, that used to be hard sometimes.
yeah, as a mom to know that you have to keep going on and doing the same thing, and then like saying one more day, all right, one more day, all right, we're going to do this for one more day, and that's why this book is coming out, because this is what mothers do. And like you just said that he didn't miss anything, but for you as a mom, as a journey, to be able to see that happen to a child who's that young, in a place that's for
Yeah,
kilometers there's no human life, and you only have your own batchmates with no children and probably very less women, I'm assuming, or no women.
yeah. Very few women, and like
Very
during the summers, families would come in for a holiday, but not during the winters.
That's totally inspiring, and that is the story that needs to come out, because as moms sometimes we feel very stuck, and we feel that the situation is stuck, and when you hear a story like that, you feel very every possibility that's there to raise your children and raise them healthy and raise them happy and raise them so again, that story of me, that is an image of me, the pressure cooker, the thing every single day, and he being wrapped up. And he also mentioned, I remember, he used to be wrapped up even in your jeeps behind when he used to be patrolling, and
Yeah. I think we used to just wrap him up and take him along behind the back seat. He's asleep, and we do the guard checks. Sometimes we have to do that, because you don't know where to keep him. But you know,
beautiful. It's a beautiful story, because this needs to be told. And thank you for allowing us to tell this story, because many army officer moms who go through this every single day, or up, Air Force, Army, Navy, any country. I'm sure it's happening to moms everywhere. So
yeah.
with the watch.
Yeah, and also like, in the mornings you leave to work really early, 6:45, 7, and you leave your kid behind. When they're very little, you have to get back to work. There's no concept of, extended leave periods and things like that in the like in the civil sector. So those were also difficult times where, my son wouldn't sleep at night. He would try to keep awake as much as possible because he would fear that in the morning when he wakes up, he's not going to find his mom around, So those little things, of course, they're still sometimes like, yeah, but
Not really. I think you
do what you
crossed
have to do.
with so much grace, and I see it in you, Sangeeta. And honestly, the day the minute I kept the call with you, and I was avoiding a party. I was avoiding a dinner party where my husband really wanted me to be there because I was just saying that my younger one needs to sleep at 7:30. He's going to get cranky at 7:30, and your party's going to get spoiled because he's a golfer and there was a golf tournament starting and he said, fine. And then I turned around and I said, no. If Sangeeta can wrap up her child into the Jeep and put him back, this guy is going to sleep in the car and he's going to attend his dad's golf, this thing. He's not going to miss it. And that's the strength I derive.
That's sweet.
No, it is because when you're living in cities, when you're living in things, and that's what I'm saying. And I am going to be very open about it because I'm leading this movement that each mom which is coming in is opening up many channels for many moms who get stuck. And it's not necessarily to say that you need to have something very big that you're stuck. Sometimes you're stuck in a very small thing, and a thing like that just inspires you to say. And that was my first dinner in 1.5, 2 years since he's been born post-COVID. And I took him and he was fine and he was munching things. I'm like, wow, he's not even sleepy, he's not even cranky. This was all assumption. So it's a small incident, but in the whole comparison of him being put behind, because I'm a photographer, right? Him being put behind right there, it's amazing. So that's why you're very inspiring. And then you move forward and we had, you move forward and you came back, and when you joined the corporate world, we should just take it from there. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, well, when I came back and came to the base, I was posted to Bangalore, and I was by then I had decided that I would join the corporate sector because I had done my M.Pharm and I was really not sure what the Indian government would do with us, so I didn't want to really risk it. So I had to start, thinking about corporate sector, and I was 11 years in the Air Force, which kind of gave me a sense of being a little redundant in the normal corporate world. And from what I saw outside, i.e. including my dad and other people, the military guys are not super successful in adjusting and acclimatizing to corporate life, because I think the life rules and social conduct is very different in the military as opposed to the corporate sector. So I felt a little inadequate, to be honest. So I decided to do an MBA, and that was an evening college because I was very sure, the way I've been brought up, like you need to stand on your feet, you need to stand on your feet. So I didn't want to like leave my job and then do an MBA. So I had a little kid who was by then perhaps around 4 or 4 plus. And I had to do an evening college MBA for 3 years because a corporate MBA evening college is 3 years. I would leave to office by 7 in the morning, and then, after office, then come back, quick bite, sometimes directly from office straight to college, and come back at 10:30, 11 at night. My son would be waiting, help him with his studies, and in the morning, get him ready for work. And I remember one episode where I used to feel guilty, because I somehow felt I wasn't giving him as much as he should. So, and in the morning, it's a huge rush. I'm getting ready. I'm trying to, iron his shirt and get him to wear a shirt and feel, like what kind of a mom I am, what kind of a job I'm doing. But the thing is, the beauty in all of this, and this really struck me, was, I don't know when this conversation came up and somebody had asked him, I don't think he even remembers now, what's the best thing that he likes? And he says, after my bath, to come and wear a warm shirt. warm iron shirt. And I was looking at that as a failure where, I'm not able to plan and keep his clothes all ready for it. And it's like last minute. But for him, it was like, that's the nice thing of wearing a nice warm shirt out. So, yeah. So, I mean, finally, I did join. I managed to finish my MBA, which actually which was quite hard to manage everything else. Joined the corporate sector, started life from scratch. And that, I think, after some point in time, we gained a rhythm, and his studies and everything. My husband was still in the Air Force, so he was posted at different places, and he would come in on vacation. And I really didn't get so much of vacation, so I couldn't spend as much time at home. So my husband used to spend a lot of the vacation time with Rajat, and I did as much as I could. I'm hoping a decent job, but yeah, that's what it was.
Problem of all mothers. All mothers keep saying that I hope I'm doing a good job. I hope I'm doing a good job. In spite of all the whatever you're doing, I think that's a common thing. And that's why this project came together, because I just thought it was me, and then I thought it was India, and then I thought it just exploded, and it was world over. Everyone felt like that. Mothers felt like that. Before we go further, just send a message. Your mom is trying to. She just tell her stay there, not to leave. I think your son also joined in. Just tell both of them stay there for 5 more minutes, and we are getting them in.
Okay. Let me get.
Because I just want to discuss one thing, and then we get them in.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm just going to load this. Facebook just got. I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want. Okay. So yeah, I had 2 waitings, and we're doing something special we've not done, and that's a gift, because eventually these interviews all will become history, and I know this book is only becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and all these 100 moms are going to be on YouTube. These interviews are going to be watched again and again, because once you make that mark of 100 moms in the book, yours is going to be again one of the rare interviews where we're going to join in with the family, and I could do that much for you, and it happened naturally. So, before we move on, and the whole thing happened, and then you lost your husband, and that period was very, very tough for you. So,
Yeah.
not getting too much in, but briefly, if we can get into that, and then, because again, these things are coming out to inspire many mothers who go through what you go through. Each of these 88 moms have gone through, and some mother will relate to it and say, if Sangeeta can do it, so can I. So this message is for that mother who will one day listen to it, or see you in the book, or see this interview and say, Sangeeta could do it. I'm definitely one of the mothers who already says, if Sangeeta can do this, I can. But there'll be many more, I'm sure. So we'll talk about that. We'll just quickly then talk about the self-portrait, and then we'll get your family in.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that clearly was, I think, one of the most difficult times in my life. It was almost 8 months, and extremely complicated, because my husband was posted to Delhi when he was detected with cancer, and he was just 42 at that point in time, and he was admitted to the Delhi R&R hospital, which is one of the foremost places for therapy, and they told us there's only a 5% risk. So firstly, coming to terms with that, you never think that it'll happen to you. You always hear it outside, and there was no history or anything to for us to be prepared for both Rajat and I. And I was at that stage where, on the one hand, I had to manage my work because we were going through a very large transaction, and at that point in time, I was I was heading the business development for the pharmaceutical company that I was working in. So on the one hand, that was happening. My son was in the 11th grade and I was trying to shield him. And the third, my husband going through this therapy where in the military hospital, you can't go and stay and be there. It's like timings. And I was Monday to Friday in Bangalore, Friday evening, take a flight and go there to be with him till Sunday and stay somewhere outside and spend the time there with him and then come back. And he went through surgery. And, at that point in time, a lot of things happen where you feel you could have done better. You're trying to protect your son. You're trying to protect, you don't know what's going to happen. There's your job at stake. There's, your husband where you're just standing and watching the whole show. And there's pretty much very little that one can do about it. So I think that was one of the most difficult phases that I had to go through, and also my son. I think it kind of damaged. Your life crashes. You don't know how you'll even carry on. So so that impacted us quite a bit, and especially Rajat, because he was in the 12th grade, and I think he also couldn't spend as much time with his dad. Because he was studying, and we never thought that it will end in this way. We thought he'd come back home, so he couldn't get to spend time. So that was behind, at the back of his mind, and it wasn't easy for him to see his dad like that either. So he suffered quite a bit, and he had to finish his 12th grade. And seriously, I think it was a miracle. He did outstandingly well, where we were at a stage where we thought that perhaps he won't even be able to clear the exam and whether we should delay it. And he was like, 1 day, 2 days before the board exams in physics, he's like, Mom, I don't think I can do anything. I don't remember anything. And we are like, okay. It was like a military exercise that we did, 48 hours, hour to hour, sitting together and, going through all of that. And seriously, he did so well, which was amazing. And that's something that you don't recover, but you try to get your life into a different normal, and I think it's been our endeavor, both him and mine, to be able to move on with life with a different normal. Yeah.
I love the way you are putting it, Sangeeta. And I I've said it a lot of times, but since I had my last conversation with you, I'm definitely living your story, and you have a book, you have a whole book in you that needs to come out to inspire the world with this, and you'll be amazed at, in one of the moms I was interviewing once, and she said, I was telling them that I was just joking about something about my children. That my children ask me, "How do you know what I'm up to?" And I always tell them, "Oh, I'm a mom. I know what you're up to." But she said, she's a Sufi singer, and she said, "Do you know even they know what you're up to? Did you ever see it like that? They exactly know how you feel. They exactly know what you're up to. They exactly can see your phases, even if you try to hide it. And they do their best. They do
I agree.
in their own way to cover up that whole thing that they step up, they do that." And I'm sure Rajat stepped up without consciously knowing it, but subconsciously knowing it.
Oh, yes.
And that's the miracle, it all happened and it all fell in place because he stepped up right next to you when
absolutely. Yeah, he's been a huge...
So the credit goes to him for sure, for being that soul who could step up and see it and, shine in those scores and everything. And and that's the miracle of this mother-child relationship, and I'm learning so much through these moms, and the views change, and now I see my son seeing me, and I pay attention to what he's saying. And just recently, I must say this, that I was telling him, he just started something and saying, "I'm sure you will not like what I've just drawn." And I'm like, "Listen, I don't like any sentences starting with the negative thing just in the beginning. right? So if you start with positive, maybe we end up positive. Something, some gyan I was giving him. He's 8 years old. And just 2 days back, we had a class, and he said, we were talking about news, and he was talking about news, and then he's asking me, what is the feature news? So I said, well, the feature news would be that COVID is increasing, and things are happening, and things are going out of control. That would be feature news. And there comes the back answer after a week to you. I don't think you're being negative, mom. You're being totally negative. I don't think so. You should start news like that. You should always start news on a positive note that Corona is going away. So they are picking you up. They are lifting you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing it back in front. But as moms, we keep thinking we are the ones who are doing it. I also want to give credit to all the children on the other side, which we moms, I don't think so. We give them enough in difficult situations. We really step up. They really step up in difficult situations and show up in so many ways that sometimes goes unnoticed. So
I keep telling him that, I'm actually thankful that I have had the opportunity to be his mom,
Yeah.
I actually am thankful.
Yes.
Despite everything that's happening and all of it. There are fun times, there are times that are a little difficult.
Yes.
But it's an opportunity that we get to play mom, the role of a mom, and
Absolutely. And we have Keetana joining us here as well. Jia is here, Keetana is here, Mandeep is here. But Keetana, you have to also stay back, because Keetana is also one of the moms I get very inspired by, and I want Keetana to definitely watch this interview. She will love it, and you'll get to meet her in the book as well. So before we go and invite both your mom and your son into the thing, just quick thing. Have you been in portraits with your son, and in the last all these years, do you think you've done any portraits of yourself, or like all of us mums, you've been hiding behind the camera and not showing up in front of the camera for various reasons that will unfold later when you become part of this book? But do you think this happened to you as well?
So on my own, I don't know if I would have taken so many portraits, but of late, my son is the most sensitive of the two of us. He always lands up putting his arm around me, and when we are together and, taking selfies and things like that. So I think I have pictures. I was looking at it. So at the earlier times, there aren't many pictures that I have, a few maybe, not as many as I would have liked. But now I think he does a lot of this of getting pictures clicked. And I realize after my husband's gone that that's something that we should always do, you otherwise don't have so many pictures.
Yeah, and I say this again and again to moms, that no matter what happens, and this camera has made me realize so much, and such a big movement has started, and so many things have happened, and it's happening on daily basis, that I can go on for hours about what all is coming up for moms through this camera. But yes, the point that you've made is you can't hold on. You can't hold on to them like when they are gone, we are gone.
Yeah.
The child needs to hold on to something. Even if he's an 8-year-old child, he still needs to hold on. With moms and their parents, especially their moms' pictures, a lot of times they just want to have that thing. So gift it to them while we are there, and I'm glad your son is doing that. We're going to get them in, and I'm going to have this conversation first with your mom, that when you became one of the 12 Air Force officers, the first batch in India, what did she feel like? Let's hear her. So I'm going to get them in, and all right, we're going to get Admit, Rajat, and Pomita. Oh, I think, I say?
Yeah.
Right.
It's Pamela. She her name is spelled differently at different places.
All of them are here. So this is one of the most special interviews where the family has joined in. And I wanted the family to join in because... Hi Rajat.
Hello, Shika.
We've been talking about you, and your mom has to switch on the camera as well.
Ma, you have to switch on the camera.
See, that Ma sounds, even at this age, like the Ma of a little girl, right? Look at this it's there. So Ma will get there, I understand. Okay, there's another, I think a Ma is coming with another Admit, and I'll have to... That's okay. It happens. The two Admits on her. So maybe.
Okay, so maybe I told you, though she's like super smart, she still does online teaching. Sometimes she can be technologically challenged, but never
I
mind.
am technologically challenged even after 88 interviews. We can definitely give her a chance. Lakshmi is here joining in, who's introduced you to this.
Yeah.
She's here. She really told me that you must get her in. So that it's a proud moment. Your mom is being honored as a mom, though she's been honored many times for many things in her life. But today she's being honored as a mom, and she's coming in a book with 100 self-portrait, 100 dreams. And your mom is also going to do a self-portrait to tell a story in the book, and it's going to be a book across the world. 100 moms are joining. She's the 88th mom, and it's an honor to have your mom in. And I had to, I'd given up that she's not coming. Then I woke up and we were like, the book. You have to be in the book because I'm holding on to your story. So while your mom joins in, Rajat, let's talk to you. And your mom has, in fact, you are also in my heart as a story because I have a 2-year-old, and now I'm comparing all the 2-year-olds to you in Ladakh and Leh when you were in Ladakh and Leh, all being wrapped up. And when your mom told me that you used to be wrapped up and you had the same meal, I'm telling my children you can have the same meal twice at least because Rajat has had that meal for 1.5 years, right? So that's how this book is inspiring many mothers with little stories being extracted. That's the inspiration. So let's hear uh, like you've heard your mom was one of the first 12 women Air Force officers, and I don't know whether you remember Ladakh at all. Let's hear a little bit about your mom and gift her this moment of life, honoring her as a mom by a son right now here. So let's hear what you have to say about your mom.
Sure, thank you. And you're spot on those memories. They're very precious ones, I suppose. But firstly, I don't know how my mom feels about being outed as the 88th mom to be, celebrated, because very often all through my childhood, she has always been perceived as my sister, a friend of mine from school. Like anytime we'd be hanging around, like in our local community. And just by the sheer fact that she is so energetic and so bubbly and lively and like so beautiful as well, that I haven't heard the end of it. So, this is a new transition, ma, finally being recognized as a mom.
Recorded as your mom.
Exactly.
You were a mom in your life, you realized it for the first time. You can thank me for that. But yes, you honor her as a mom for sure. She's amazing, and she's what an inspirational journey. And this is an opportunity for you to actually go live because I keep telling her these interviews are going to get rotated, and this is going to become an historical interview as well, with the son honoring. She deserves a standing ovation not only from this country for being one of the first 12 women officers, but also from a son for being a pillar. And now I'm coming to know that you're also a friend. And
Oh yeah.
Right? Oh, no doubt. I mean,
we both are very close. Yeah.
I think something which has been so phenomenal with this relationship in particular, and I don't think I say it enough, but I'm immensely appreciative of that, is that my mom is constantly growing. Like even today, I feel she has more of a hunger to learn, to change, to challenge her mindsets today than I am at 25. And that kind of sets the bar for me as well as to how I should want to live my life. Just this New Year's, she decided she wanted to have a solo trip. So she went to Greece just because she wanted to restructure how does she want to approach the world, what is important to her, what are her value systems, to ask these questions to herself at present and constantly grow, moving to another country, setting up a base there. Even with me, honestly, like as I was going through college, there was some parts of, family turmoil, which made dealing with college experiences really, really difficult. And I mean, we've come from a traditional Indian upbringing. She was in the Air Force, education, number one, no compromise, work hard, get what you deserve. That was the mental upbringing. But after that, to have to, welcome more of conversations about mental health, more about, family is important, your health is important, rather than this quote unquote success ladder, which my mom was very much on and achieved so much on as part of being, brought up in that environment. She just completely shifted her mindset, and it's just been so loving and so receptive. And I could see it was difficult for her. I could see that day in and day out, she had to keep challenging things that she thought was the way life needs to be lived. And she's just trying to accommodate me and be so loving and giving. And so kudos, just interacting with her is, I don't appreciate it enough. I know I take it for granted how lucky I am, but genuinely a rock, an anchor, an inspiration. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a gift I could give to your mom, Rajat.
Thank you so
That's
much.
why you're the only child who's been allowed in the 88 interviews. Only moms are allowed here. So I
Oh, wow,
want to
cool.
I probably did not witness her being honored by the president of this country when she was one of the first 12 moms. But as a citizen of this country, I want to honor her. And what better honor than actually listening to your son? Sangeeta, did you actually
Yeah, for me.
actually hear that? Because all this while your mom is feeling that you're inadequate as a mom, maybe you didn't do a good job. And I was telling her, all of us moms feel that. But did you hear that? And I was just telling her, you know what? Our children see us. Our children see us, they exactly know what we are, and they exactly will, know who we are and what we've done. They just don't speak up, or we don't give them opportunity to speak up because we're always talking to them as moms. And Rajat, you did such a, I'm so proud of you, how incredibly you, whatever little I know of your mom. I know her very little, but I will know her even more very soon once she's part of these 100 moms group. And for her to take these journeys, for her to take a decision of even taking you to these places where, that itself, being a young mom, being able to take you and with the confidence that I can take my child there, you'll be absolutely okay. I'm sure she feared many things, but she let the fear go off, and she's like, he'll be absolutely fine eating that potatoes and that, rice and that dal, and then he'll be fine if I leave him behind with the bachelors who don't know how to take. Like I would get a heart attack leaving my child to a bachelor, that too in a place with no oxygen, and going out for 6, 7, 8 hours, and oh my God, that's why I sent a personal message right now to the group. I said, please join the interview, and this interview is going to really inspire many moms because that's how we need to be. We fear so much, and I must say that each mom in this book, like each mom who's come in this book by the universe together, has this incredible story. Some stuff that I just get, and I'm totally emotional listening to you because I'm a mom of 2 boys, and what your mom was just saying, I feel like that already. I'm like, oh, I'm inadequate, I can't do this, I'm not good, I'm not bad. Exactly what she's saying, exactly what our other 188 moms have said. You're the voice of a son, and you became the voice of all the children that we did interview in the thing, honor mothers. So hats off to you, Rajat, and very proud of you to actually do a great job of even honoring your life in this interview.
Thank
So
you.
thank
May I
I'm
actually
very
just
proud
give
of it.
one example of
Yes.
exactly what you were saying, Shika? This is kind of just cemented in my head. I completely understand what you said about my mom, perhaps feeling inadequate and sometimes of not having been, the ideal mom. We've had conversations like this before, and she says that she has this regret and da da da. But one moment is like etched in my mind, and mom and I keep talking about it as well, is when I was a kid. This is maybe like 12, 13 or something, like wake up super late, you drink your doodh, and then you're like running to school, and sometimes I'll forget my backpack, and there's a whole rush and everything. And mom is like up at the break of dawn and then back home at night by about like 8, 9, and she's just hustling. And so then I'm out of the shower and I need an ironed like shirt to go into school, right? And so like literally, if you're looking at that scenario, it's like hustle, bustle, brush, and then mom is like ironing my clothes, throwing it at me, I'm putting it on and running out. And then she spoke to me one day, like many years later, and being like, I really regretted that. I wish I could have, ironed your clothes at night, and you'd have like a peaceful way to get up and go to school, and I could give you more time. And I just turned around and said, the best part of my morning was coming out of the shower when I was feeling cold and having a hot shirt and bunian and like chaddis and everything, like wearing that and heading out. So I think you need to really give that perspective, like you said, like the kids see it in such a different light as opposed to how the moms maybe interpret it, because you always want to do more for us, but it's enough. Like, thank you, like, thanks.
Why I'm laughing right now? Because you did not hear the interview. Just before you were admitted into the room, she was already talking about your mom shirt and
Oh, good job.
because I was just saying that all of us feel like that. And see, this is what I'm saying. It's a beautiful moment, and you didn't know your mom was talking about that, and you just said, "Oh, may I tell you this?" And both of us were quietly listening to it because we had heard this 15 minutes before you were admitted about the warm, And here is your mom's mom.
Yeah.
It's so
Hi.
warm, so beautiful, turning out so beautiful.
Hi.
Welcome to the party of honoring your daughter. And this is a proud moment that we've got 3 generations together. Not happened in the 88 interviews, was not planned. She offered, I said yes, and she's like, fine. It was first the mom coming, and then like, what about my son? I'm like, fine. Grandson, he would have also joined in the party for sure to honor this beautiful woman we have here. So we're going to take the spotlight to your grandmom now, Rajat, and welcome. And I've been hearing about you from Sangeeta, and you're a mom.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having me here.
I had to get your daughter here. I literally said this book can't happen without you being in the book. So please let's have her. So I believe that you're the pillar behind her, who encouraged her to reach there.
Yeah. Probably in the past. Now I think she is my pillar of strength now.
That's what children do. They become their pillar, and now Rajat is hers. So we keep passing this bait. But let's take you back when your daughter first entered the Air Force, and then she became the first 12 women officers, and you got the news.
Yes.
Go back to that moment, because that's the mother's moment that we're going to celebrate here.
Yeah. Thank you.
How did you feel about it?
Well, I can express only one word: mighty proud that my daughter went into a field where no woman had gone in India. So that gave me, I can't tell you, such a lot of pride in me and my husband. And it's like she carried on the tradition in the family. So as you said, as you asked me how I felt, well, proud beyond words that she had achieved something which nobody else had, no other woman had. And besides, she's been such an independent person. She's done it all herself, by herself. That makes me even more prouder that way. Yes, been very proud and very happy. Yeah, in fact, she has fulfilled her dad's dream to an extent, you could say. Yes.
She definitely draws a lot of inspiration from all of you, and it's not only a proud moment for you, it was a proud moment for the whole country to find the first 12 women, and it should have not gone unnoticed, and that's why Ashika Khanna entered in her life and then forced it out to be honored first as an officer and then as a mom, and then her journey as a mom has been incredible as well.
Yes, yes.
Great moment to have all of you together to salute her for who she is as an, because this doesn't happen often. I mean, just not as difficult situations as an army officer, and then being for like women where women were not there, that was tough enough. Then being pregnant is next level.
Yes.
Having a child and taking the child to make it
Yes.
is another level, and then whatever happened till today. She's definitely, I'm telling her that she has a book in her. I would encourage her to write a book for sure.
Yeah, I would second you. I would really want that to happen. Honestly, she should, and she could. I'm so proud of you, Deepa, honestly. And the fact that she has gone through all the trials and tribulations of her life herself, and on her own, shows
extreme courage and confidence that she's had, my daughter. And there could be nobody who could feel humbled to have given birth to such an extraordinary child, an absolutely extraordinary child. She's remained intelligent and bright right from her birth, I could say. To recall some of those small time incidents that she would, as a babe in arms, she would go about, coming out with the phonetic sounds. From then it starts right till her days where she goes through her college education on her own, her master's degree on her own. She decides, and always a compassionate heart for her parents, knowing exactly how much she could, sort of get from her parents, knowing all that, the army way of being brought up, an army child. She had all that compassion in her, understanding of the situation so beautifully. And the most important thing that I'm so very proud about her is the fact that when she went through the hardest phase of her life, she didn't crumble like the most other women would do, or probably come back to her mother. No, she didn't come back as a woman totally lost. No, she didn't do that. She fought it, and where she is today is purely out of her courage and her on her determination to be a wonderful mother to a bright boy like my grandson. And yes, today she stands there as a pillar to her mother. Actually, she, by the way, and she uses the phone, of course, she uses the phone to keep me moving with times and to be a smart mother, as she calls me. I'm proud of you, Sangeeta. I'm proud of you.
Very proud of her. I wanted her to relive that spotlight again, because it should not be forgotten.
Yes.
She led many women in this country, and she made it possible with the 12 women in 24,000 firms.
Yes.
As an Air Force officer, as the first batch of Air Force officer, I get goosebumps even hearing it, that I'm sitting with her, and this is something that she might think is one of the things, but it's actually very beautiful, and I wanted to relive this with this special honor. Yes, we don't have the president of this country this time, but we do have.
Thank you. I have the most important people in my life. So.
Somebody else trying to join in called Kalpana Sanjay.
I think her relatives are all there.
Oh, really? No. No, that's all right.
Yeah. All right. So we have a lot of people commenting here. Kirtana is here. Kirtana, you get to meet her in the group now of the 100 Moms, and Lakshmi is here, who introduced you. Lakshmi,
she
thanks
is
for
my
allowing us to honor her in the book. And yes, Kirtana saying thanks for making her part of our tribe. Honored. Thank you, Lakshmi is thanking. And yes, she's going to shine here as well, and we're very proud of you. And honestly, I am going to keep saying this again and again. It's an honor that you led women in this country at the time when there were no Air Force officers, and you just mentioned there were mud houses, and Rajat stayed in those mud houses. You're lucky. You have a story to tell. Stayed in mud houses. I've been to Leh and Ladakh for a thing, and I know how difficult it is to be there. I'm not taking my child by the way, just for another car ride there, because I just knew what the car journey was, and you took a 2-year-old for 1.5 years there. So you're teaching a lot, and what is possible is what is possible when Sangeeta steps in. So it's an honor to step in. Welcome to the book, Sangeeta. You get to meet 88 other incredible women, and very soon we're wrapping this up with 100 women. On the 3rd of February, I've announced it. That's the day. I was meant to finish it, honestly, in 100 days, 100 women. And then at 75, I had a little accident with my 2-year-old, and I had to stop the interviews because I was being a caregiver there, and I had to stop all interviews. But everything happens for a reason, because at that time when I was sitting in the hospital with him, and I was like, okay, if those 100 moms can do it, so can I, because many of them went through 18 surgeries for their children. Many of them were told that children will not survive, and they survived. Many of them, survived abuse. So many things have happened to these moms, and you all gave me inspiration. And then there was a reason that Sangeeta needed to come. That's why I did not end on 8th of November, and it's here in January. Still 12 more women's coming in, so I'll request everybody to just keep tuning in. Next 12 days, we'll finish it off. Sarah, I'm here. Sarah is here. Good morning, Sarah. And all these moms you'll get to meet, and we're going to create a self-portrait. You're going to see your mom telling her stories through a self-portrait, Rajat. That's another.
Mother's also going to see.
Yeah, so proud, so proud. Thank you so much for joining in, and Sarah, see the replay. This is very special. You have to see the replay. Thank you, and I will go off live and make you join the tribe. Sangeeta, welcome to the book.
Thank you.
I'll take this book and this message to many moms who need to hear these messages, and you're going to be voice to many moms who are still thinking, should I take my child, should I not take my child, should I do it, should I not do it, and they'll do it because Sangeeta did it. Yes? Thank you so much.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
And I'm going to go off live. You guys stay back before I say bye-bye to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you can be live now. You can be there.